What's up, guys? Today's video we're gonna be working on the Dodge Dakota. We got a bunch of things to get done. The Hellcat swap Dodge Dakota, aka Hellcoda, just in case you guys don't know. But last video we went to an event. We do have this Hellcat style hood on here, and I was running into some issues with the actual hood hinge. So I showed you guys this hood hinge has a ton of play in it. So right now I have this on it. If I take off this little prop part here, all these joints here really start to show a bunch of play. But check this hinge out. We figured it out that it's like, this hinge is actually worn out. Like the armature that comes over, it's got like mad play in it. So like check that out. So when we were driving, that side was fine, but this side was like doing this, freaking making us all nervous. Part of the thing is when you leave this third member on here, or bar, it kind of tightens up the different joints, but these pivot points are loose, so they have some play in it. I ended up just locally going and getting a couple hood hinges. These ones are a little bit better, but they're still used. I don't know that Dodge sells these anymore. What was I gonna show you on this part here? So here is this one. This one doesn't have I disconnected the spring on it. But this one, I gotta do a couple things to it before we potentially try it. This joint right here, these things are kind of like sandwiched in. Like they kind of use these push rivets and then mushroom them out like that. This one right here has play, so I'm gonna tack it in place so that it tightens it up. So I'll hit it with the tack welder. The other thing I might try doing is, rather than disconnecting the spring like you can see here, I might try to heat this spring up. I've got a little tank with MAP gas right there. I might try to heat it up and see if I can weaken it so that it's not as strong as it needs to be for a steel hood. Rather than like trying to disconnect this would probably be not a smart idea. So I might actually try to heat it. Maybe we'll see if we can heat the living crap out of it and see if I can weaken it a bit so that we could actually use them. Either way, if not, I'll just rock it with it disconnected. But if I could keep it connected and just weaken it, it would probably work. And then once I get done mucking around with it, I will paint them black and we'll throw it on and hopefully it fixes our issue. So that's what we're getting into today. Let's get to work. All right, so it's kind of working, weakening the spring, you guys. Now I can actually push it with my hand right now, so I've just been heating it up. Couldn't do this a second ago. Oh yeah, it's way softer now, for better or worse. That didn't take much, you guys. I didn't think that was gonna work, but it actually did seem to work. So I think this might actually work. It's not like, it's not crazy stiff anymore. I think it should be enough to hold it though. Hopefully we didn't weaken it too much, but we'll find out in a minute. All right, so there we go. We've got that hinge painted up. So you're gonna have to take the hood cowl off or squeeze your way in there to get at that last bolt in there. So I've got that off. I've never really clipped it in ever since doing all this. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take out the 3 bolts, hold the hinge on, swap it out, and let's see what we got. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I'll keep it 100% real. Swapped out the hood hinge, still was doing the exact same thing. I tried putting the hood hinge in the exact same placement, but still had play. And also, like I said, it's like kind of like a $20 experiment, but weakening the spring that much with the torch, it wasn't able to hold the hood. So definitely wouldn't do it as much as I did. Like if you can push it down by your hand, you're probably gonna collapse it. I didn't do 2 of them to see if it would hold it up, but it was seemed pretty weak, just under 1. So what I did was, actually, I had the black hinge on there. I adjusted it further down so that it's actually, once you start, suck the actual hinge down enough, then it gets tightened up. If I go over here to the other side, again, kind of stock setup that I haven't adjusted, you'll see here. So see how much that bounces? Versus the other side, it doesn't do that anymore. I do have a bit of a fender alignment I gotta do here. If you'll notice you kind of see the fender kind of dip out here, but this fender needs to be raised a little bit. It's sagged a bit down here. So that's something right here I can fix by just adjusting this fender up just a little bit, and then that'll clean up that body line here, because this is kind of sagging down a bit. But this is now tight. You can see it doesn't move at all anymore, which is what we want. And I achieved that by sliding the bolts down. So let me pop it and show you guys what I did. So you can see where it used to be. Hopefully you guys can see that. It used to be way up here, and I slid it down to the bottom and on the back too. So bringing the actual hinge down, got rid of the slop out of the hinge, oddly enough. I don't know if maybe now it's resting on the fender and that's where the slop is coming out, but either way, it tightened up that play. So because the other one had the same amount of slop in the actual pivot points, so it didn't fix anything, and I'd prefer to keep the blue hinges, if anything, look a little more factory. So what I'm going to do is similar on this side. You can see here, these are in the factory position. I'm going to drop these down just slightly, and then it should tighten up this hinge the same way. So let me drop those down. I'll show you guys, and hopefully it fixes it finally. All right, well, I got her dialed in, boys. So like I said, $20 experiment, but at the same time, at least I got her dialed. So look, zero play in the back here, and that's by just taking it, and I actually raised the front two just a little bit and then fully maxed out the back one, so kind of squatted it like this. And look, you guys saw the play that was there before, and now we have zero. This thing latched down right now, so then you go over here and zero play. But you guys saw before it was like rising and falling like crazy, but now she's solid. So now that should be a little bit better. Like I said, it was not very confidence inspiring when the thing was just doing this, and it wasn't from the front, it was just the back was lifting and falling. But now you can see she's all tightened up. I just gotta adjust this fender at some point so that I can clean up this body line, but at least she's good to go now. So that's pretty much it for that. Got that all sorted out, and I'm gonna try to get this painted this week. Also want to try to fiberglass the underside of this, but we'll see how far we get. Other thing I have too, and I'm gonna try to do just like a daily vlog for you guys, because I got a bunch of stuff to try to contend with. I got all new lug nuts for the truck. I'll link these in the description below where you guys can get them. They're pretty affordable. They're like 20 something bucks. The reason why I got these are the black lug nuts, but they're solid. And if you look at them, if I can one hand this for you guys, they're one piece, and I'll show you kind of so see how they're one full solid piece. Some guys were complaining that they scratch too easy, but honestly, whatever. If they last half decent, I'm okay with it. So the ones that are on here, and I actually ordered like expensive Gorilla nuts. If you guys have ever heard of Gorilla lug nuts, they're, you know, one of the more premium ones. The caps kept falling off on me, so they're just like these caps that were glued on. So that's why I want to go with a solid one, so I don't have to deal with this nonsense. Because every time I would, you know, work on the truck and remove a lug nut, the cap would fall off. Like I have a million of these stupid little caps. I've been collecting them over here. I'm obviously just gonna throw them out, but see, this cap just kept falling off. So this thing is just like glued to it, and every time you would zap the lug nut, this stupid thing would fall off. So solid lug nuts. If you guys are interested in these, I will link down in the description where I got these. And they did come in a pack of 24, which is a little bit hard to find because a lot of them are either like 5 lug, right? So you don't get enough lug nuts, but these were like under 30 bucks for 24 of them, which would do for every single wheel. So if you have one of these, I'll link them down below. So that's pretty much today's update for you guys. This is Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to those of you guys. And I am going to work on something else. It's always something with this truck. It worked flawless for the whole day when we went to that event, but went to go start it and I don't have fuel pressure again. So I'm going to redesign the fuel system. So right now I got to yank the bed and go through all that stuff. Got a bunch of parts from Holly to kind of mimic the original Hellcat system. The original Hellcat system, like I think I mentioned briefly, is pretty unique. It doesn't turn the pump on and keep it on like full 12 volts. It pulsates the pump, and that's where it regulates the pressure. So it turns the pump on and off, and that's how it gets its pressure. There's a sensor on the fuel rail. I can probably show you guys here that senses fuel pressure, and it pulses the pump based on that sensor. So here is the sensor. It goes between the two rails, and it measures the fuel pressure, and then it pulses the pump based on the pressure it's seeing at the rails. So it's a very unique setup. Most systems have a fuel pressure regulator either in the tank or on the rail, and that's what regulates the pressure. But this thing pulses the pump, and I'm trying to get a system to work with this. It's a returnless style system. So what we're gonna do is, the problem is the original basket for the Hellcat has a check valve in it, and it also has a bit of a bleed on it so it doesn't overpressurize. So what we're trying to do is duplicate that. So I'm gonna try and test out a system, and then if it does work, I will show you guys what we built and how it worked. But I'm kind of in a bit of a testing stage with this, bit of a prototype phase, and like I said, I'll share that with you guys if it works. But right now I'm just testing it and making sure that it does work. So keep you guys posted on that. Make sure you give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Again, happy Labor Day to you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next video. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get this painted this week. We're really pushing it on time, but I'll see what happens. I did want to try to get some fiberglass on the inside of that today, but didn't really happen. Kind of took a little bit longer than I expected to get a few other things done. So it is what it is though. We'll catch you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching.